All right, let's jump right in. Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through exactly how to configure the SAP ARIBA adapter. Now, this is the key that plugs your systems into one of the biggest business networks on the planet. We're talking a massive digital marketplace.
You know, it all starts with this huge challenge. Think about it. In our global economy, how do millions of companies securely and efficiently transact with each other? I mean, we can't be sending paper purchase orders back and forth, right? So how do you manage that digital conversation when it's happening at a massive scale?
Well, the answer is the ARIBA network. The easiest way to picture it is as this giant digital meeting place where buyers and suppliers all come together. And they don't just find each other, they actually do business, exchanging things like purchase orders and invoices, all using a common language called CXML. That standardization, that's the secret sauce that makes the whole thing work. So if the ARIBA network is this amazing destination, how do you build the road to get there from your system? Well, that's exactly where the SAP ARIBA adapter comes into play. It's that specialized bridge, that one piece of tech that securely connects your applications directly into that huge global network.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by talking about the adapter's two main jobs. Then we'll go step by step through setting it up to both get data and send data. And we'll wrap it all up with how to schedule it and a final checklist so you know you've got everything buttoned up.
The absolute best way to think about what we're building here is as a digital post office. The ARIBA adapter is going to handle all of your company's mail, both incoming and outgoing, with the entire ARIBA network. It makes sure every single document gets to the right place, securely, and right on time. And just like any post office, the adapter has two really basic jobs. It's got an inbox for all the messages coming in and an outbox for all the messages going out. Our job is just to configure both sides of that operation. Now, this slide right here simplifies everything. But listen up, because the names can feel a little backward at first. So let's be super clear. The sender adapter is your inbox. Why? Because ARIBA is sending documents to you, so it receives things like invoices. The receiver adapter, that's your outbox. Your system is sending documents, and ARIBA is the receiver of, say, your purchase orders. Make sense, right? All right, let's get our hands dirty and start by configuring our inbox. We're going to set up the sender adapter so it's ready to receive data from the ARIBA network. The whole configuration is actually laid out really nicely into three main tabs inside the SAP Integration Suite. We've got Processing, Connection, and then the Scheduler. Let's just tackle them one by one. First up is the Processing tab. Think of this as filling out your ID card. You'll put in your unique ARIBA network ID, make sure the CXML version is correct, set a user agent, which is really just your company and product name, and pick the language, which for now is English only. Okay, next is the Connection tab. This is where you tell the adapter where it's going and who it is. So you'll pop in the ARIBA network URL, choose your connection mode, and this is a big one. You have to decide between the live production environment or a safe test mode. And then you'll identify your account type. Are you a buyer or a supplier on the network? Now we get to a super critical security choice. The ARIBA network has to know it's really you trying to connect. So you've got to decide how your system is going to prove its identity every single time. And this table lays out your two main options perfectly. You can go with a shared key, which is basically just a secret password you both agree on beforehand. Or, for much tighter security, you can use a client certificate. Either way, you'll store it safely and give it a credential name alias, and that's the name you'll type into the configuration. Perfect! Our inbox is all set up and ready to go. So now it's time to configure the outbox. Let's get that receiver adapter set up so we can start sending our documents back out to the ARIBA network. And here is the really good news. If you understood how to set up the sender, the receiver is going to feel like a breeze. The main tabs are exactly the same, processing and connection. And you'll be setting the same exact types of parameters for your ID, the URL, the connection mode, and your authentication method. Okay, let's circle back to our sender adapter, our inbox, for one last, really crucial step. I mean, an inbox is pretty useless if you never check it for new mail, right? We need to tell the adapter when and how often it should look for new documents from the network. The Scheduler tab gives you an incredible amount of control. You can set a really simple recurring schedule like daily, weekly, or monthly. Or you can get super specific and schedule it to run on a particular date at a very precise time, or even have it check for new documents every few minutes, but only during your business hours. So here's a number you absolutely have to remember: 200. No matter how often you schedule your check-ins, the adapter can only pull a maximum of 200 messages from ARIBA in one go. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you expect a ton of documents, you'll just need to schedule your polling to run more often. And here's a critical little gotcha to watch out for. And this comes straight from the official documentation. Be really careful when you're scheduling monthly jobs. If you schedule a job to run on the 30th of every month, it's just not going to run in February. It's a tiny detail, but it can cause major headaches if you're not paying attention.
Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So before you go and hit that deploy button, let's just run through a quick final checklist of the most important settings. Getting these 5 things right is absolutely key to a smooth connection.
Think of this as your final pre-flight check. Is the connection mode correct? Test or production? Did you pick the right account type? Is your authentication all set up? And did you use the right credential name alias? And finally, did you double-check your scheduler to avoid those wonky dates? Seriously, a quick review here can save you hours of pulling your hair out.